Join us this summer for the epic fantasy series Forbidden, coming to Kickstarter.
Hey there, wait a minute, Mr. Postman. Yeah, you right there, Mr. Postman. Hey, Mr. Postman, look at me. Is there a package just waiting for me? Where's my box? Where's my box? What's in the box?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a very special edition of What's in the Box. George doesn't know this is happening, and so I'm going to go in. Oh, man, hold on to your seats because we're going on a history ride. We're going back in time in order to come forward. So on this episode, it's Russ5377, number 1. Now, we're going to start with the original number 1. That's right. I was digging in the crates, and I pulled out an original George the Dreamer Medina, Russ5377. Number 1. Illustrated, written, colored, everything by George the Dreamer Medina. That's George art. That's George artwork on the cover. That's George artwork on the back cover. And the interior is lettered, colored, and written by George. Now, the reason why I did this is because it's been a minute since, excuse me for a second. Sorry about that. It's been a minute since I haven't read any of George's work. So we were at PowCon, and I was able to do a 5-finger discount on his revamped number 1 of Russ5377. I did the old okey doke, right? So I have a copy of his new one, but I've always been, so I just want to go on record and say, I've always been a fan of his art style. He had this urban, almost Rugrats off, like non-typical style of drawing. And I've always appreciated that about his style of art. And I've also read both issues. So he definitely rewrote the script for issue 1, the dialogue and everything, the tempo. So I'm going to point out those differences. So I'm going to start with the original Russ5377, which was done by George, and the revamped, which was written by him, but everything else was done by, he lettered it as well, but it was done by Doctor Who and Domingo, wherever they are. And so, all right, so the first thing I noticed on the cover of Russ5377 number 1 is you can tell it's a tale of two worlds, right? You have Russ, the main character here, and you have the sinister madman on this side. So you know there's opposing forces. Then, caught in the middle are the friends, family, and memories, history. So you know there's something going on just by looking at that cover. All right, so now let's open up that. Let's go in. Let's go in. George is going to kill me for this, but hey, what are you going to do? That's what friends are for. So I love the opening, plain black, and it says, throughout time, dreams have often held the answers to life's questions. Sorry, because there's a glare, so I have to hold it up this way. For this young man, dreams hold the answer to his entire existence. Dreams that reveal a lonely past, a dismal and desolate beginning, a life that's about to change. And so I will tell you his story, not because it's true or false, but because it's a tale worth telling. And I will tell it to you the way it was told to me. Come on. If that is not enough to draw you in as the reader, just that alone, I'm like, whoa, what was the story that was told to you? I can't wait to hear it. Right? So I love that. And I mean, again, I'm a big fan of Russ5377. So here, now you can see George's art style. This is what I'm talking about. So it had this look and feel to it that it just appealed to someone like me. And it was something that you would find at like the Mocha Art Festival. Like George's style fits perfectly in that environment because it doesn't follow any traditional style of art. And he breaks a lot of rules when it comes to perspective and foreshortening and all that stuff, whatever. But, art, what's great about art, it all depends on the eye of the beholder, right? You interpret it the way you interpret it. And I looked beyond that, and because I just love the design aspect of it. Now you can tell that George has come a long way when it comes to lettering, because this is when he originally lettered it, and you can see here it looks like it was taped on and then copied. I don't know. I have to ask him. But anyway, he's come significantly. Like right now, he's a pro letterer. He can be working for any company, Marvel, DC, whatever, as a letterer. But anyway, so it starts off, he's in his room. He wakes up, right? And then boom, woman runs in. So happens to be his mom. Grabs him. We got to go. Let's run. And there's an explosion. Boom. It starts off with drama, right? And that's what I loved about Russ5377, the original, right? So boom, automatically you have questions. Who's this woman? Who's this kid? What's going on? Why the explosion? Boom, boom, boom. You just slammed with questions, right? So then there she lies on top of him. He's too young to understand, too young to remember. So what happened, right? And so now, and I love the coloring. It was fun. It was whimsical. It was Jetsons. It was retro. It was, I don't know. I just enjoyed it. So he's there with his friend. They're talking until he realizes, oh, wait, I have to get back. And she says, we never have enough time. He goes, I know, but I have to get back. And I just loved the fact that, there's so much fun going on in this book. And it was no wonder that George had a loyal following when we were at the cons, right? So here we go. He tells a story about how he has to go back to the home for the boys, the Juden home for the youth. And now he has to go through this tube system that basically it resets his memory to make sure that he was not tainted in the outside world. And then his boys are in there, right? And Kino and Bachi, and he's like, yo, what are you doing on the floor? They go, yo, they just jacked up one of the other kids, and he disappeared. We're going to be next. No one's believing him. And they're the mad scientists, meanwhile, in the research laboratory, well concealed several stories above the home's foundation. Kino is right. One of them is next. Dum, 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 dum. Right? So tell me, you're looking at this, right? Forget the copycats, because there are tons of copycat artists out there, and everyone wants to look like Marvel and DC, and everybody wants to look like Image. What I liked about this is there was no style like the Medina. There was no style like this, and I don't know if you thought I was like blowing smoke up him, but I was always a big fan of his style, and so it was just cool and fun, and so right now they're plotting, right? And then he's like, after you check this kid, I want you to pick up Russ5377. He's next, right? Then it cuts into the scene, right? And then there she is, Jay, a lone survivor. What I loved about this scene here, right? So she's there at the park with her dog. She wants to go on her air skating machine and skate through the park. And she's like, the dog's like, she goes, don't worry. It's not like a creep is going to come up behind me and try to kidnap me. And then it says, and so that 10 minutes into her workout, some psycho begins to creep up behind her, right? So she just tells the dog, no psycho's going to come up. And then that's what happens, right? That was the humor that I enjoyed about this. So you add that humor. She knocks him out. She calls the dog jacks him up. Boom. Right? So now there it is. That night, Russ again finds himself lost in perplexity in another vivid dream. So he's been having dreams. He sees this little girl. He remembers his parents. He's trying to put the pieces together, but they wiped his memory, right? So he's in this boys' home, and they wiped his memory. And unless you are of an affluent family, you're gonna end up in that home. So now here they come. They're jacking up the boys. He's busting them up. And he's like, yo, Russ, wake up, wake up. So Russ wakes up. He's like, what? They start fighting. Pow, pow, psh, pow, psh, bap, oh. Right? So one of them gets away. The others two got beat up, and then they self-destructed. And the door opens, and the facility manager is like, yo, what's going on? It's like, yo, they took the boy. He's what you talking about. And there goes Dr. Evil. Comes in. It's like, yo, what? Put them in solitary confinement. And it's like, we get, and they're pissed off. And he's telling them, yo, you're going to be next. I'm getting all crazy now. Now I'm getting hype. And he's like, you're going to be next. I'm telling you, they're coming for you. So then he starts questioning the guard. He goes, weren't there three of you? What happened? Was there any trouble? And he's like, then he finally told him, Russ5377, jacked us up. So now they're like, we need to get him. He goes, so he's like, well, what is the name of the boy? And he's like, it's right 5377, Russ, sir. And so they have him in solitary. Now they have to plot to get out. And they got to figure out how to get out of the facility. And then he's like, you know what? After you put him through the brain scan, I want Russ. Boom. And then it ends there, to be continued. And then he has dedications. And I'll talk to him in private about the dedications. I picked up on something. I'm pretty smart about that. And so then you had the cover for part 2. And I mean, this advertising, where the only thing is what they want you to remember. They got me trapped. Nah, they can't keep the man down. So look, I loved this piece right here. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you had the collage, you had the crew, you had the Louis Juden Home for Youth sign. You had him in the chamber, and you had the bad guys. And then Wizzy was our boy Robert Nunez. He was down with Crazy Comics, and we were going to produce his book. That never seen the light of day, but that was one of the roster. And look how he was kicking down the title of the book with his socks on. How badass is that? The future is uncertain. His past is unknown. Dun, dun, dun. So that was Russ5377 then. Now, fast forward. We're going through time. And to Russ5377 now. So, straight up, you see the cover. It's an action scene. Just guys coming at you. You don't know why. It's just guys coming at you. Right? Why I appreciated the first scene, because it told a story. This one just says, things about to pop off. That's it. Just a bunch of guys coming at you. I appreciated this. But the art style, fantastic. The coloring, off the chain. Great quality. Love it. Right? I mean, look at them. I don't know. I mean, the bottom of those shoes, they look like an expensive pair of men's dress shoes. Or it could be rubber suction cups on the bottom. I don't know. But anyway, look expensive. So I love this here, right here, this design, this layout. Right? He goes, chapter 1. And then you have the explosion. You have it's all grayed out, silhouetted. I thought that was hot. This needs to be printed in color. So we need you all to go out and buy the Russ book, so that way he can raise enough funds to print it in color. But it starts off very different from the first one, right? So now he used to tell me about his dreams, and now it's from a third person's perspective, right? About his dreams, blah, 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 blah. And so he's having a dream, and then suddenly, boom, his mom rushes in, Russ. And then again, first of all, the artist, fire. The artist is no joke, right? And so you can see leaps and bounds from back then in 2005 to now. George's lettering is superior. Like he really graduated with masters, right? So back then he just enrolled in school, and now he got his doctorate. What are you talking about, Sam? So anyway, he kills it with his lettering style. So So wake up, Russ. Wake up, honey. We have to go. Boom. Mother comes in, grabs the kid. The father grabs the daughter. I love this scene right here. Boom. And they're running down the hallway. And it's like, Angela, we can't go that way. Right? They leave the house. And then similar to the other one, boom, explosion. He wakes up suddenly, gasp. So now what's different here is that rather than him enjoying the freedom of the outside, he decided to tell the story from within and talking to his friend who is, there is a hologram form of communication, right? So they're not in contact. So he's within the halls. I like the other approach, the outside one, because that's what creates the risk. In my perspective, it creates a greater risk. I understand why he evolved over time with the story. But again, it's all a matter of approach. But the layouts here, crazy. I mean, look at that classroom. Look at the holograms. Look at that background. And then look at his wordplay, right? He kills it with it. So here at an orphanage named Louis Juden Home for the Youth. This is where he grew up, where thanks to the miracle of modern science, he met me, and where he first told me about those awful dreams. So that's who's speaking in the narrative, right? And so they're talking, blah, 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 blah. He's running out of time. Again, artwork is crazy. Would love to see it in color. Artwork is sick. And she's about to tell him that she likes this dude. It ends, boom, 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 boom. And now he takes him to the scanning room where they got to wipe him clean to make sure that they would know nothing tainted. You know, that part, you know, I prefer the other one. I think the risk is greater when you're exposed to all of the threats on the outside. But that's just me. So anyway, look at that angle right here. Boom. Look at that freaking room. When I saw that, I was like, yo, Sam, would you draw that? Would you have thought of that? That is freaking creative. Anyway, and it's exhausting. I was just looking at it. I'm tired. So, you know, they're looking for anomalies, blah, blah, blah. Then they realize that there's something happening in his chip. So they need to inspect further. And so, you know, he falls asleep. And then, boom, the memories again. He's having memories of these people. A little girl, mother and father. He said, what's going on? I love the way it played out. So then a few hours later, Bachi and Kino are in the room. You know, hey, Kino, look what, you know, decided to join us. How long were you out? Blah, blah, blah. They're just talking. And yeah, so then he's telling me, I saw some guys take some kid. Boom. And he just disappeared, but they don't know what's going on. So then meanwhile, there's the chopper. Get him to the chopper. Welcome, Professor Morb. Sir, what's going on with the MSC? It's good to see you, sir, blah, blah, blah. So they're trying to find out because the chip was hidden in the brain of one of the kids. So trying to find out which kid it was. And he's like, I didn't want you to bother you with something trivial, but we found something, and that's when they pull the file of Russ5377. He goes, I want a full diagnostic, a full background check on this kid. And so it starts to pop off, right? So then now here it is. Here's the scene. They're climbing off the side of the building. What I liked about the other one versus this one, and George's going to kill me for this, you know, and it's a matter of taste. I like the other one because they came through the walls. I came through the wall. I said it before. I never let the mic. Anyway, so they came through the walls. This one, they're climbing off that, so they seem average before they seem like mystical. So anyway, they're climbing up the side of the building. Bum, bum, bum. And they're breaking into the room. They're going after kidnap this kid. They use the dart. Knock the other one out. Russ, wake up. He gets up with the fisticuffs. They said, all right, we got him. They throw one at him. And it's just, bang. Hits him on the chest. He says, I'll take care of him. They do something. So they had some, I don't know if it was a punch or some sort of force field, but they knocked him out. He's like, you got knocked up. Anyway, so they knocked him out. And says, Russ, you know, are you alive? boom, 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 and the needle's bent, so it never made it to him. Well, it never like penetrated him, whatever happened. So now here he comes, Orf, he comes in the room, what's going on? And so they decide again, take them to confinement. And that's when they tell Brainiac, it's like, yo, this is what happened. And he's like, well, you know what? Run the full diagnostic on his boy. And then after that, go and pick up Russ5377. And this is straight out of Total Recall. This is like crazy, that image right there. And then there it is. The guys are ready to rumble. Back to back. Back to back. It reminds me of the old days. Anyway, so there it ends. There's your boys. And then there's On the Duck and published through Duck Fryer Press. And it was printed with Kablam. So I love Russ5377 as a concept. I love it as a story. I understand why he decided to take it to evolve the story. I still am impartial. I still have a soft spot for the original, but I like them both. And I think if you haven't picked up Russ5377, unless you have this. If you have this, make sure it's still... See, I have no creases on mine. I took it out of a bag and board. Because I know that one day this is going to blow up. One day this is going to be fire. And so I kept this one. And if you have this, guys, keep it. It's a collector's issue. And you need to get this if you don't have it already. So that way he can raise enough money to start producing it in color. But... that's Russ5377. Go to getyourmeds.com. That's with a Z. Getyourmeds.com. And if you don't know what Get Your Meds are, you have been watching Cast the Craze podcast. You need to start watching it. And so that's Russ5377 from my boy Jorge Medina. Again, I love your art style, George. I don't know why you gave it up. You need to do when you launch next year's. Whatever you're going to do next year, you need to do a variant cover with your style, bro. You start working on that now because I know how anal you are about your art style. But great job. Great book. Guys, pick it up. Go to getyourmeds.com. Go pick it up. It's available also for download on Apple. It's also on, I think, Comic Solid. It's everywhere, bro. It's everywhere. So you need to get it into your hands. That's an episode of What's in the Box. If you want your book featured on What's in the Box, just hit me up, DM me, send me a physical copy or PDF, whichever you prefer. It don't matter. And if you have an event coming up, sponsor an episode of Catch the Craze, promote your thing, 30-second spot, and get the word out for what you're doing. You want to get interviewed on Catch the Craze, just hit us up. That's it. And I'm Sam the Crazy Man Vera. This is an episode of What's in the Box. Thank you for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you like this episode. Subscribe, like, share it with a friend. Peace.
What's in the box?